Hey friends, welcome to Inside and Out Yoga and Meditation, where every day we help you reach your highest potential inside and out. My name is Colin, and I'm your meditation guide. Today we're going to continue talking about connection by talking about our connection to our minds, because arguably our minds are really the only thing that we have. Our minds shape our reality. If you believe in the law of attraction and that kind of stuff, then your mind literally shapes the reality that happens to you. But even if you don't, if you take a more stoic approach like I do, then your mind controls how you perceive things, and it kind of colors your experience. I mean, Epictetus says it is not our thoughts, it's not the things that offend us, but our opinions about the things. So knowing your mind and having a connection to your mind is so important because your mind colors your experiences. If you don't recognize the state that your mind is in, you're not going to recognize how it's coloring your experiences. If your mind is in, say, a dark place and you don't recognize that, then you're going to think that all of these things that are happening are true and are bad, and the world is bad and you are bad and all this stuff. But if you can recognize that your mind is coloring your experience and that your mind is in a particular state, then you can work to get out of that and see things a little bit differently. You have that option. But you don't have that option if you don't have that connection to your mind. So that's what we're going to practice today. We're going to practice connecting to our mind. And you may not have some wonderful, great breakthrough today, but this will lay the groundwork for the rest of your life. You'll be walking around, and because you've done this practice connecting to your mind, you'll notice your thoughts more. Maybe in a moment of anger, you'll notice that you're angry and you can let it go. Maybe in a moment of anxiety, you'll notice your anxiety and you can work to let it go or work to deal with the anxiety in an appropriate way. All because today we have built a connection with our minds. So before we get into the practice, I'm going to read a quick quote from the Buddha, the man himself, and then we can get into it. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Speak or act with an impure mind, and trouble will follow you as the wheel follows the ox that draws the cart. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Speak or act with a pure mind, and happiness will follow you as your shadow unshakable. How can a troubled mind understand the way? Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own thoughts unguarded. But once mastered, no one can help you as much, not even your father or your mother. Oh, you can hear pancakes going crazy. All right, my friends. Let's bring ourselves into a comfortable position. And you can be sitting, standing, lying down. You can close your eyes or leave them open, whatever feels comfortable for you. Let your hands fall wherever they will. And just settle into this moment. Noticing your breaths. Noticing the slight movement of your body as you breathe. Bringing yourself into this moment. This moment where you're safe. This moment where you have nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to be. This moment where we're just going to spend some time being curious about our own thoughts. So I'm going to give you an instruction that is meant to fail. So don't tighten up and get all stressed about it. I want you to breathe in and out and not think about anything. And of course, as soon as I say this, you're going to think about things, and that's the point. I want you to think about things because I want you to be able to notice the things that you're thinking. And as you notice things, just notice that they arrive from nowhere, and that if you leave them be, they also pass to nowhere. You don't have to attach to them. Maybe gently trying to apply the practice of noting, in which you label the thought as the tense and the verb of the thought, and then bring yourself back to the present and being. So for example, just then I was future teaching. I was thinking about teaching you. So I would say future teaching, present being, and bring my attention back to being in the present with my breath. Every time your mind wanders, which it will do, just gently noting it, bringing it back to the present and being. And you can be grateful for each time that your mind wanders because it gives you the opportunity to practice. And it gives you the opportunity to learn something about yourself. We're doing this practice as an experience in learning what's going on in our minds. And if our minds didn't wander and we didn't get to notice our thoughts, then we wouldn't learn anything. So don't get frustrated when your mind wanders. Say thank you. Thank you for this little bit of information about myself. And as you're noticing your thoughts, maybe you start to notice patterns. We would call these your habitual thought patterns. Know that these thought patterns that are occurring here on the mat also occur throughout your life. I know I'm always somewhere in the future, and that's not just here on the mat, that is somewhere in my life. So I make a concentrated effort in my life to not be off in the future. And I learned that here, doing this practice. And as we do this, we're doing two things. We're, one, learning about ourselves, learning about our habitual thought patterns. And two, we are weakening the strength of our compulsive thoughts. Every time that we're able to consciously take our attention away from the thoughts and bring them to something else, they lose a little bit of strength. So in those moments where your thoughts are telling you that you're bad or the world is bad, you'll have the strength to realize that they're not entirely true. They're just thoughts. They come from nothing and they go to nothing, and they don't belong to you. It would be more accurate, instead of "I had a thought," to say "a thought occurred to me." I'm going to shut up for the last minute or so to just give you one last chance to just see your thoughts. Be grateful for the opportunity to note the type of thoughts that you're having, and to bring your mind back to being with the breath. And as the practice comes to a close, allowing any attention on the breath or the thoughts to subside, and just checking in, just seeing how you feel, what's here in the body. Maybe you feel calm, maybe you feel peaceful, maybe you feel agitated. Whatever is there, in the same way that we did not judge our thoughts, we're not judging our feelings. Just noticing them. Good. And slowly allowing the eyes to come open. Great. That is a wildly important practice. I would love to know the kind of things that you learned about yourself. If you noticed any habitual thought patterns, or maybe if later on in your week you noticed some habitual thought patterns as a result of this exercise. That's super exciting. And I would love to hear what you notice. And I'm sure other people would also love to hear what you notice. So you can comment that here on the YouTube video or on our Instagram, our Facebook, or our TikTok. I'm glad that we did this.